swarming. Molson Canadian. The clean, cold taste of a genuine Canadian beer. What beer's all about.
Lemieux, Mullen, and Stevens. The best line in the National Hockey League. They always seem to combine, ever since they've been together, at any rate. And that's about 5 games now. Craig Berube for the Maple Leafs. McGuire goes to the front of the net. In behind the goal. Krushelnyski after the puck. Jágr couldn't clear it. McGuire, his shot. Barrasso gloved it, couldn't hold it. Samuelsson up the boards. Jágr with Herdina over the blue line. Loney's coming late. Jaromir Jágr in front of the net. Loney was knocked down by Petit, and Jágr's after the puck again. Around the perimeter, puts on the brakes. Couldn't get away from McGuire, who pushed him back. He's dogged in his determination. He's after the puck again.
Yeah, he pushed him back, but he couldn't push him over. Jágr was pretty strong on his feet.
Jim Pack. Larry Murphy gave the puck to Herdina. Drops it off for Jágr to the front of the net. Now in behind it. Couldn't center it. Loney. Nifty little pass. But only blue shirts in front. Berube cleared the bucket heads for the bench.
I'm sure some of the Leafs are saying, get that guy off the ice. That's Jágr.
He goes off and Stevens comes on. Lemieux, Recchi, there's a big scorer on every line on this team. Again tonight they're playing with 3 lines. Anderson to Lehman, stopped by Barrasso. Great save by Barrasso, is just rubbing salt in the wound. It's 6-1 Penguins.
You know, I just love this new Diet Pepsi song, but do you think it's caught on yet?
You got the right one, baby.
Diet Pepsi.
You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby.
Jágr's like a one-man Toronto Maple Leaf wrecking crew when he's out on the ice. Watch him just control the puck. And he's so big and strong that you try to take that puck off him. Not a chance. I mean, he's going to head for that net. He's going to get a scoring chance.
Jim Pack with a pass ahead to Stevens, taking a shift on the 4th line in fork spot to give Ken Priestley and Jamie Leach a little ice time late in the 2nd period. They go offside with 1:27 left in the 2nd.
Things don't get any easier for the Leafs as they go home, but they have to face the red-hot Detroit Red Wings on Saturday night. The Red Wings have only lost 2 games in their last 20. Meanwhile, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they've got 3 games, including tonight, in 4 days. So a tough task for the Penguins.
And they're coming up to a stretch of 4 straight games in the Patrick division, starting with Washington, a team that's just hammered mercilessly in their last 3 outings. 8-0, 7-2, and 6-2 in the 3 games against Washington.
Yeah, the Penguins have got big problems, as Scotty Bowman knows, against the Capitals. He talks about them being so fast. We've seen that this year. And also the New York Rangers, who he really thinks has got a great team. And Mark Messier, and when Leach is playing well, and he thinks they've got great goaltending, maybe even a little better goaltending than a lot of people might even think.
Barrasso played the puck away from Mike Bullard. Larry Murphy dumped the puck up through the middle. Bullard dumps it back in with Merwan Zezel on this Toronto forward line. Flipped in the air by Murphy. Rouse trying to clear it away from Priestley, and can't. A pass for Leach, hopped over his stick. And Mike Bullard makes a wide turn in his own zone, gets away from Priestley, picking up speed over the blue line, can't get to the net. Jim Pack cut him off. Pack for Stevens, stopped by Merwa. Pack again up the middle, taking a page out of the Larry Murphy book. He goes in the air over everyone's head.
A couple of times tonight, Mike Bullard's tried to do it all himself. It's frustrating. But yet it's a frustration that Mike Bullard probably is showing for the rest of the team. When they can't score, then that's what happens. Players who have some ability start to do it all themselves.
Bullard's 30 years old. His career started here in 1981. 6 full seasons in here. Scored 51 goals one season, and then in a dispute with then head coach Bob Berry, he moved on and went to Calgary. Francis won the draw, and the Penguins dumped the puck in. McGuire trying to come out, can't do it. Recchi with his shot. High and didn't miss by much. Francis trying to center for Recchi. Now Recchi's in the corner after the puck. Running out of time in this period. Coffey's in deep looking for the puck. And the Leafs flip it out. And the period comes to an end. Leafs are ahead 23-18 in shots on goal. That stat doesn't mean very much tonight, does it? Because the Penguins lead by 5. Here's John Wells.
3 goals for the Penguins in the first, 3 more in the second. Mario Lemieux has his 25th of the season, including 3 assists tonight as the beleaguered Leafs continue to struggle and can't seem to buy a goal as Lemieux has his second straight 4-point night going, and there's still 1 period to go. Ahead in the second intermission tonight, we'll go once around the league with Chris Sedens on the NHL tonight with stops in Boston, Quebec, the Island, Washington, St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Los Angeles. After 2 at the Civic Arena, the Penguins lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1. This is the NHL tonight on TSN.
A new step in the evolution of beer. Every day this December, Molson Special Dry is available at regular beer prices. Molson Special Dry starts bold, finishes clean with no aftertaste, and now at regular beer prices every day this December.
We don't see many abominable snowmen around here.
Well, at these prices, you're going to be seeing a lot more.
Well, you know, when we get together, we make honey like it's never seen.
Fruit, cause the king bee gets the honey.
With the pace of change in today's world, building a high-quality performance sedan and making it affordable has become a manufacturer's dream. Now, it's a reality. Introducing the all-new 16-valve double overhead cam Elantra. Further proof that at today's Hyundai, we're picking up the pace.
At Thrifty Car Rentals, we know traveling on business has its good points and its bad points, its ups and its downs.
Great gift, great price. The Great Ones hardcover autobiography. Just a 99-cent donation with any rental at Thrifty.
Because no matter how much money you make...
You all set, Mr. Goodsey?
It is, after all, your money.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the NHL Tonight. I'm Chris Sedens, sitting in for Jim Van Horn on a very busy Boxing Day. Hope everybody's had a very Merry Christmas. We're going to go to action now from Long Island, the Nassau County Coliseum, the New Jersey Devils against the New York Islanders, and Sports Channel New York.
Chasing a loose puck, got bumped by David Volley. Stosny takes it out of the corner. Knocked away, but recovered by Sundstrom with less than a minute to go in the period. Fetisov held it at the line. And David Volley takes over for the Islanders. The outlet bounces off the boards away from Derek King. Kasatonov up the middle. It's played right back into the Devils' end of the ice for Fetisov. The Islanders in the middle of the change. The outlet from Fetisov gets through. Here's Shorsky over the line. Norton on him, and Fitzgerald steals the pass. Tom Fitzgerald to Pierre Turgeon. Turgeon to Hogue. Walks in and scores!
What is the right medicine for a team that's having problems? Goal, particularly near the end of the period, where Benoit Hogue has just scored for the Islanders. Beautiful passing play coming up the middle. Tommy Fitzgerald started it. Benoit Hogue took the pass and then beat Terrari. The Islanders are within one. There's the pass by Turgeon after he took it from Fitzgerald, and Benoit Hogue.
The goal from Benoit Hogue. It is now 3-2. The Devils leading the Islanders. Both these teams struggling as of late. Devils struggling with just one win in their last 8 games. Islanders have lost 3 in a row. Stay tuned. Plenty of action tonight in the NHL. We have all the highlights coming up. It's 6-1. Pittsburgh up in Toronto. The NHL Tonight continues in a moment.
This is no toboggan ride. The world's best negotiate turns on an icy track at speeds over 100 kilometers an hour. TSN heats up your Saturday night with World Cup 4-man bobsled competition from Calgary. Winter Speed 92, Saturday, 9 Eastern, here on Real TV. TSN. NPN's interactive games put you in the middle of televised sporting events, and you call the shots live. Football strategy in QB1. Predict goals scored with power play hockey. Step to the plate with Diamond Ball. And challenge your knowledge with NPN Trivia. Compete against your friends and opponents across the NPN network. Now you can play in the majors for real. Now playing in licensed locations across Canada. QB1. For information, call 1-800-661-PLAY.
The most entertaining and exciting American movie of the year is Bugsy, says New York Magazine.
Did you think you could steal from me?
Beatty and Benning tear up the screen. Bugsy.
Now playing at select theaters. Check newspapers for locations.
Gillette presents Sensor, the system, the technology that will change the way you shave forever. Sensor, twin blades set on springs to read your face and respond. Independent suspension to sense and adjust to every curve of your face. No other razor comes close. Gillette Sensor, for the best shave a man can get.
TSN follows the excitement of international amateur hockey. See live coverage of the Max Midget Junior Hockey Championship Final from Calgary. New Year's Day, 8 Eastern, right here on TSN.
8 games in the National Hockey League tonight. We have highlights from all the games which are in progress. There are a couple of late starts. We'll start at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland. The Washington Capitals playing host to the New York Rangers. First period, Mikhail Pavanka steals the show. Lets one go from the slot, beats Mike Richter. And with that, the Capitals are up 3-1. Then with the score 4-1 Caps, Dmitry Kristich hits Pavanka at the side of the net. He redirects it in. It's 5-1 Capitals. Later in the period, Kristich, Pavanka at it again. Pavanka gets his third of the period. Shorthanded goal, Capitals up 6-1. Pavanka has 3. Kristich has a pair. It's now 6-3. Washington up on the Rangers. They are in the second intermission in Landover, Maryland. Next, the Whalers against the Bruins at the Garden in Boston. Just over a minute into the second period. Vladimir Ruzicka intercepts the puck at the blue line. Great move on the defenders and a great move to beat Kay Whitmore. And it's 1-0 the Bruins in front. Midway through the period, John Cullen to Pat Verbeek. Verbeek will score on the rebound, and that tied the game at 1 apiece. It stands that way right now. 1-1 the score at the Boston Garden between the Whalers and the Boston Bruins. They are in the second intermission. Next, New Jersey against the Islanders on Long Island. With the score 1-0 Devils, Patrick Sundstrom drops it to Dave Barr. He rips it past Glenn Healy, his second of the season, 2-0 New Jersey. A few minutes later, Jeff Norton just out of the penalty box. They were trying to clear the puck. He takes it, beats Chris Terrari big time. And with that, it was 2-1 Devils. The puck went off Stefan Richet's stick. That's why it was not a 2-line pass. With that, it is 3-2 Devils up on the Islanders in the second period. Next, Montreal against Quebec. The Battle of Quebec. Tempers flare in the second period. Todd Ewan, John Kordick going toe-to-toe, both landing a couple good shots. Pat Burns not happy about it, but Montreal bench, well, they seem to love it. Midway through the second, Montreal with a good scoring chance. Jacques Cloutier comes up with the big save for the Nordiques. Later in the second, score tied at 1. Denny Savard slides it in front of the net. Kirk Muller, Captain Kirk, gets his stick on it. The Canadians go up 2-1 with that goal. And now in the second period, Montreal is up on Quebec 3-1 the score at Le Colisée in Quebec City. In our game at the arena in Pittsburgh, the Penguins up on the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1. Second intermission continues on the NHL Tonight in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Charlie Pry.
Is anybody going to San Antonio?
Hi, I'm Charlie Pry, and I'm really excited to tell you about my latest album, With Love from Charlie Pry. This exclusive collector's edition features 30 of my most requested hits, together for the very first time in one collection.
But I'm so afraid of losing.
This collection features many hits available for the first time anywhere on compact disc, including Charlie's very first #1 record.
All I have to offer you
and his million-selling hit single.
is an angel good morning, and love her like the devil when you get back home.
With Love from Charlie Pride. Available on 2 cassettes for only $19.99 or on compact disc for just $24.99.
With Love from Charlie Pride. The songs you request most often at my concert. And I'm really proud to bring them all to you in this special edition. Now here's how to order yours.
Call toll-free 1-800-635-2299 or send check or money order for $19.99 for 2 cassettes or $24.99 for compact disc, plus $4 shipping and handling to Charlie Pride, P.O. Box 600, Station R, Toronto, Ontario.
Who could ever forget the Canadian junior team's triumph last January in Saskatoon?
Canada has struck gold.
This year, Canada's goal is a 3rd consecutive World Championship title. Super Junior Eric Lindros leads an all-star team to the most exciting junior hockey event of the year. Cheer on the Canadian team as they take on the best in the world. Don't miss the tension, the drama, and the moment of glory. Live coverage begins Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern, only on TSN.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome back to our TSN Control Center in Toronto. I'm Chris Seaton, sitting in for Jim Van Horn, who is on his way to Fusen, Germany for the World Junior Hockey Championships. A goal explosion by the Pittsburgh Penguins as they lead the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's go to John Wells at the Civic Arena. John?
All right, Chris, the Leafs are out shooting the Penguins. They still can't score. The Penguins get 3 more in the second period, and the first came rather early in the second period, 27 seconds in. Great play by Yuri Hrdina for Jaromir Jagr in a lone super move on Grant Fuhr. It is Jagr's 14th, and it is the Penguins leading 4-1. Third setup by Mario Lemieux. This for Ron Francis. Francis alone in front and gets his 9th of the season to make it 5-1 for the Penguins. Then at 16-16 third period, Joey Mullen and Kevin Stevens, the setup for Mario Lemieux. Great reach to tuck it behind Grant Fuhr. Lemieux's 4th point of the night, his 25th goal of the season. Now the Lemieux line is on a tear tonight. Lemieux has 6 goals and 15 assists, 21 points in his current 8-game scoring streak. And the Penguins in full control of the Toronto Maple Leafs here in Pittsburgh tonight. It's 6-1 after 2. Chris, some more scores from around the league tonight. Thank you, John, and we have some other games to update for you. There are 3 late games in the NHL tonight, 2 of which have just got underway. First of all, Chicago playing at St. Louis, a Norris Division matchup at the arena in St. Louis. No score between the Blues and the Blackhawks. Dave Gagne has scored his 13th of the season for Minnesota. The North Stars up on the Winnipeg Jets at the arena in Winnipeg, 1-0 in the first period. And, of course, the late game tonight in the NHL, the expansion Sharks against the Los Angeles Kings, Gretzky and company. Boxing Day rounding out an 8-game schedule in the NHL tonight. After 2 periods at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, the Penguins up on the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1. We'll return with more of the NHL Tonight on TSN in just a moment.
Down there, this mask comes in handy. But when it comes to underarm odor, a mask won't help at all. That's why I use Old Spice deodorant. Look, it doesn't just mask odor, it helps stop problems before they start by killing odor on contact. I mean, with this kind of odor protection, who needs to hide behind a mask?
Kill odor, don't mask it with Old Spice deodorant.
So, new jobs, new apartment, new neighbor.
Wait a second.
What?
Okay, let's say you're borrowing some sugar. Things start to get a little sweet, and then she notices,
Dandruff? I shampoo every day.
Yeah? Obviously not with this.
Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away, but the flakes come back. Regular use of Head & Shoulders helps prevent dandruff.
But you don't have dandruff.
Exactly.
Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Nothing brings a country together better than watching its finest. TSN pre-Olympic coverage continues with Team Canada facing off against the Soviets and the Swedes for the Alberta Cup. Live coverage begins Thursday, 10:30 Eastern, here on TSN.
Pretty goals. We've seen a few all for the Penguins in the second period. Hrdina setting up Jaromir Jagr's 14th, 27 seconds in at 15:08. Mario Lemieux for Ron Francis. Francis gets his 9th of the season. Then at 16:16, Lemieux's 25th of the year from Mullen and Stevens, making it 6-1 for the Penguins. Shots in the second period favored Toronto 14-10. The two-period total reads 23-18 for the Leafs, but they're down by 5.
See the sign on the ice in memory of the late Badger Bob Johnson, coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's a great day for hockey. It'd be a greater day for hockey if Bob was still here, but it's a better day for hockey because for so long he was. Scotty Bowman is behind the bench and happy to be there tonight with his Penguins up 6-1 over the Maple Leafs. 10 points for the Lemieux, Mullen, Stevens line. Jaromir Jagr's had a fine night.
You know, Jim, one of Bob Johnson's favorite players was Joey Mullen, and Mullen played a great deal of his career for Bob Johnson. And Bob Johnson, I can remember saying that Joe Mullen was so great on the power play because he had a tremendous pursuit of the puck, and when you would lose it on the power play, Joey Mullen would always go back and get it for you again.
Joe with a couple of goals in this game, 4 in his last game, so 6 in his last 2, up to 23. Lemieux's up to 25. Kevin Stevens doesn't even have a shot on goal in this game, but the Penguins are still up 6-1. 16,164 here tonight, a sellout for this game. The third period underway. Paul Dvorsky's the referee. Grant Fuhr and Tom Barrasso are the goaltenders. Grant Fuhr out to play the puck for Todd Gill. For Craig Berube with Krushelnyski and Kevin McGuire, and they dumped the puck into McGuire's corner. He's the Toronto goal scorer tonight, and he scored a beauty in the first period to tie the game 1-1. Jagr up the boards. One man to beat, that's Rouse. Loney's coming in late, and Rouse stays with Jagr. That's tough to do. And behind the play, after that puck got out to center, Jagr gave Rouse a swat in the back of the head and then skated away.
Jagr's not going to be pushed around in this league. He showed that last year as a rookie when he continued to come on strong. The season got longer, he got better.
Paul Dvorsky's calling a penalty as Pittsburgh got back to touch the puck. But it's Mike Krushelnyski who's going to the penalty box.
No Penguin with him.
Penalty, number 26, Mike Krushelnyski, 2 minutes for cross-check.
It's a cross-checking penalty against Krushelnyski, and the power play that scored twice goes to work. Here it is.
Krushelnyski just kind of shoved Yuri Hrdina. I don't know that that was a great penalty by any means, and I don't think it was a cross-check.
You're right, John. Well, not necessarily in those words, but I know what you're complaining about.
We're with you.
Krushelnyski for cross-checking at 109. Pittsburgh 2 for 3 with a man advantage. 6 power play goals in their last couple of games, and working again here. Francis and Mullen have power play goals tonight. Here's Stevens to Lemieux. Larry Murphy. Ron Francis now into Joe Mullen and back to Francis. Murphy. Francis with some room moves in and shoots. Rolling puck, and he hit it wide. Murphy, a point shy of 700, takes the shot. You're the save. The rebound off the side of the net. They score. second chance for Mario.
And Murphy should have his 700th point. Larry Murphy controlling the play, pulls it into the middle, then gets his shot away. Now there's the rebound. Lemieux has one chance, then two chances, before he finally puts it in. Grant Fuhr kicked that first one out, then fell, and when he fell, that puck went to the wrong man. Lemieux again, and gave Lemieux more room upstairs.
Yes, he's good enough with one chance, let alone two to put the puck in. Lemieux's 5th point of the night. Murphy and Francis draw assists, and Larry Murphy has become the 10th defenseman in the history of the NHL to get to 700 points.
That's a remarkable feat.
11 years ago, he started with Los Angeles, has his 700th point tonight. On the 7th Pittsburgh goal, leads 7-1 over the Maple Leafs. 3 power play goals tonight, now 7 in their last 2 games. There's an offside call against Pittsburgh.
Murphy, coming into tonight's game, had a 6-game point streak going for him. But what's even more remarkable, and Scotty Bowman will attest to it, is the fact that this guy has been a plus 18 on a team that has got problems defensively. As I mentioned before, they were the 18th best team, or worst, however you want to look at it, in the NHL defensively. Yet second best offensively.
Jim Pack. Ken Priestley, the pass was out of his reach, and Michel Petit is back. This is the first meeting of this season between these teams. The last time they met was in February of this year, their final regular season meeting, and Pittsburgh won that game 11-4. 18-5 in the last 2 games and counting that these teams have played. Recchi was hit by Shannon. Priestley bumped Petit. Samuelson keeps the puck in. Bullard dumped it out on the left wing. Tom Barrasso out to Bob Airy. Rink wide for Mark Recchi, and he moves in on Todd Gill, who takes the man, knocks the stick out of Recchi's hand, rubs a glove in his face, and the Leafs come out with the puck. Gary Lehman to the blue line and over for Glenn Anderson. Weak shot, easily stopped by Barrasso. Ryan Bradley after the puck. Murphy cuts him off, takes the puck, and out he comes. Up the middle for Troy Loney. Gains center ice and dumps the puck in for Pittsburgh. 4 minutes into the third, 7-1 Penguins. Murphy, Perdina, Yager. Loney in front is stopped by Fuhr. Pittsburgh 7, Leafs 1 on Molson's NHL Tonight.
There are 2 kinds of people in the world. Those who want to know.
Harvey, these light delight dinners give us their cholesterol and fat levels.
And those who don't.
Delicious.
To those who want to know.
It's right here on the front.
Light Delight puts it out front.
Where we can see them.
For those who don't want to know. Light Delight simply tastes better than ever. McCain Light Delight. The information's on the outside. The taste is on the inside.
We're just scanning the Pittsburgh bench here in search of Paul Coffey, and I think you'll agree he's nowhere to be found there, and we haven't seen him in the 3rd period. So we'll check that out, try and find out why Paul hasn't come out for the 3rd period of this game. Jim Pack around on the boards. Todd Gill keeps the puck in for Toronto. There to take it away from him was Yager, who was tripped up. Kevin McGuire in pursuit of the puck against Yager. Murphy took a bump. cleared the puck, and it's over the glass and on a play.
Tonight's silo fan of the game is Dennis Polchak for Pittsburgh.
Larry Murphy's had a lot of great assists in the National Hockey League, and a lot of great memories, I'm sure. He's had one assist that I'll always remember, and that was the last game, Memorial Cup, against the Brandon Wheat Kings, an overtime assist that helped the Peterborough Petes win the Memorial Cup. And Dick Todd, who's watching this game tonight, and I were in charge of the Peterborough Petes, and Larry Murphy was a very valuable member of it.
The overtime goal against Brandon to win the Memorial Cup, and one of the great trivia questions of all time for people who love junior hockey trivia is who scored the winning goal that year?
Bobby Atwell. And who was a broadcaster for Brandon that was there? Jim Houston.
Paul Stanton is the puck carrier for Pittsburgh, trying to get in on the scoring act here. 5 minutes into the third period. 7-1 Penguins. Yager. And the puck is up on the Leaf bench. 7-1 Pittsburgh here. We'll have another update. Here's Chris.
Thank you, Jim. On Long Island, the Devils up 3-2 on the Islanders. Then Peter Stastny stops, uses the defenseman as a screen, then takes the wrist shot. And Pete Len Healy with that. It is 4-2 the Devils lead the Islanders in the third period on Long Island. Back to Pittsburgh.
Let's see. Washington has 6 goals when last Chris reported. Pittsburgh's got 7 tonight, so they're in a dead heat. 165 goals apiece atop the league. 2 highest scoring teams are filling the net tonight. Samuelson with a shot. Fuhrer the save, and he holds on.
You know, the Pittsburgh Penguins really missed Samuelson when he was out. He was injured during Canada Cup and missed about 14 games for the Penguins. Samuelson is an aggressive defenseman, and Scotty Bowman would like another big aggressive defenseman to take a little bit of the heat off of Samuelson. Teams like to go at Samuelson and get him upset. That's not easy to do either. Or not hard to do, I should say.
It's 8-1. Stevens has not had a shot on goal, and that shouldn't count either, but now he's got a goal from behind the net.
Well, they're going in from all over tonight, and that's just the way of the Leafs. Watch Stevens. He just does almost a wraparound. He's not even close to the net, but along the boards, he just fires that puck out in front of the net. Grant Fuhr's trying to head back. Godinyak doesn't take the puck. Tries to get a shot of Stevens, but wasn't successful at doing so.
A goal and 3 assists, and he hasn't had a great night. The other 2 guys on the line have been flying, and he's been in on their plays, and now he scores from behind the net. Hasn't had a shot on goal, and he's got the 8th. 9-1. Back-to-back hat tricks for Joe Mullen. 4 on Monday, 3 tonight.
He looks like he's 21 years of age again. Joe Mullen has got the zip and the goal-scoring touch back. Grant Fuhr's had a tough night. I think Tom Watt knew coming into the game, Jim, that he had to hope that either Grant Fuhr stood on his head, that Tom Barrasso had a bad night, or else they weren't going to win.
Stevens unassisted. At 5:24, 23 seconds later at 5:47. Mullen from Stevens, so a goal and 4 assists now for Stevens. Mullen has 3 and an assist. And it's 9-1 Pittsburgh. Bob Rouse with a shot wide of the net. Now the Penguins are the highest scoring team in the NHL all by themselves.
It's not over yet. The way the Leafs have been playing this whole game, it could go a lot higher yet, folks.
Well, there's plenty of time. 13.5 minutes to go in the third. There's a shot wide of the net occupied by Tom Barrasso. Bob Airy took a late hit from Craig Berube, but made the play to center. Delayed offside. Pittsburgh clears the attacking zone, so it's washed out. Uh-oh, here they come again. Recchi trying to thread the needle for Yager, and Todd Gill cut the pass off. Yager to Recchi with Airy, 2-on-2. Here's Bob Airy to the front of the goal. Pure kicked the puck aside. Recchi couldn't touch it. Cannon's check. Recchi was knocked down trying to get to the front of the goal. Rod Lozelle with a long shot, stopped by Barrasso. Paul Stanton is back. Up the boards for Ron Francis. Pass for Jamie Leach was knocked down. Stanton for Francis, he was checked. It was Lozelle coming back to check him. You'd think these people would be a lot more noisy here, a little happier. There's a local burger chain that just gives them all a free burger thanks to 7 goals tonight. Not you, Greener, the fans.
You saw me licking my lips.
There's an icing call against the Penguins. Lemieux, Stevens, and Mullen have scored in the third. It's 9-1 Pittsburgh.
Introducing a whole new way to look at Pepsi and Diet Pepsi.
It's beautiful.
We're told that Paul Coffey is not coming back tonight, is not hurt, but has taken the equipment off and is finished for the evening.
Well, we'd like to find out more about that one.
That's hard to figure, isn't it?
Only time I've ever heard of that was when a player was either very upset or just traded.
Jim Pack, 10 goals. Joe Mullen's got his 4th. What a couple of nights for Joe Mullen. 4 on Monday, another 4 tonight. Petit stripped to the puck.
Jim Pack did a nice job of that. Taking that puck right off of Petit. Nice move by Pack, who set Joe Mullen up. That move by Jimmy Pack will bring a smile to the face of the lady that works at the duty-free shop at the Toronto airport. That's Jimmy's mom.
Mullen from Pack at 8:19. Here's Bradley with a shot off Larry Murphy's stick and into the seats. 10-1 Pittsburgh.
Jimmy's mom's always got a smile on her face anyway, doesn't she, Jim?
Lots of action here, and there's action elsewhere. Here's Chris.
The New York Rangers have won 6 in a row and refused to die against the Washington Capitals tonight. Gartner will make the back pass to Turcotte. Beautiful Turcotte with the snapshot, beating Mike Liut. And with that, the Capitals still lead the Rangers 6-4. They're in the third period in Landover.
Plays underway here with the Penguins leading 10-1. Joe Mullen has his 9th career hat-trick, his 2nd consecutive 4-goal game here tonight. And Kevin Stevens, who has a goal, cuts for the net. Couldn't take the puck with him. Todd Gill to Bob Rouse. Out to center. Bradley in alone. Stopped by Barrasso. The rebound was swatted off the side of the net. Lemieux for Mullen. That pass didn't connect. Nearing the midway mark of the third period. 4 Penguin goals in the early part of the third, and they lead 10-1. Troy Loney. Gary Hirtina. Back to Loney. He snapped one on Grant Puro, made the save. Dave Hannon. Lucien Deblois bumped the puck out to center. Grant Jennings. Ralph Samuelson up to Yager. He was checked. Hannon tried to scoot it on the left wing. Samuelson holds him up. Knocks the puck off the inboard. Lozelle, Deblois, and Hannon collided. Godinyak with a shot. High and wide, and up for the puck comes Jaromir Jagr. Samuelson and Loney with him, and he's headed for the net on his own and stopped at the defense. Alexander Godinyak checked Jagr. Long pass at center for Jagr. Francis has the puck. Delayed offside called against Pittsburgh.
Penguins and Stop and Go remind you to please drive home safely after the game tonight. Your local Stop and Go.
Right now, at this point in time in the game, it's when Scotty Bowman would like to use his fourth line a lot, especially with 3 games in 4 nights. But again, it's tough to do because guys just like to perform and they like to score more goals. Another game coming up tomorrow night. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers in Vancouver. 10:30 Eastern time.
And lots of action coming up with the World Junior Championships. Houston in Germany, and Gary will be headed over there after our game tomorrow night. Today, Canada beat Germany 5-4.
But right down to the last minute it took.
Ron Francis to Mark Recchi. He hit the post. Francis.
Somebody's got a great bell in here. Sounds like the Liberty Bell, but nevertheless, it resembled, I guess, what the puck sounds like when it hits the post.
Daryl Shannon centering pass through the goal mouth. Mike Krushelnyski. Second chance to the front of the net. Shannon moves up, can't get a shot away or much of one. Shannon to the front of the net. Backhand shot by Krushelnyski. Deflected into the seats.
For us, we even took the puck off of his own players and put it back to the Leafs to give him another chance.
Here's another update from Boston.
The Bruins playing host to the Whalers tonight. Pat Verbeek will set up Adam Burt in front of the net. He scores his 5th goal of the season. With 3:09 left to play in the period, let's go back to Pittsburgh.
Lots of hockey, as we mentioned. On TSN through this holiday season, the Alberta Cup with Canada's team tuning up for the Olympics against the Russian selects. That's coming up immediately following our telecast from Pittsburgh tonight.
Boy, lots of hockey on these Christmas holidays.
And you know, not only is there a lot of hockey on television, there are tournaments everywhere. At every rink, it seems, across the country, there's a tournament somewhere. A wonderful time of year to get out and watch kids play hockey and to watch these grown-ups play, too. Mike Bullard faked a sharp angled shot, then couldn't take the puck by Samuelson. Daniel Merwan to Peter Zezel. Side of the net, he's checked. And the net is knocked off. By the way, the 4-goal game tonight for Joe Mullen is his 2nd consecutive 4-goal game and the 4th of his career. 9 hat tricks, amongst them 4 4-goal games.
These fans here at the Pittsburgh Arena are sitting back pretty quietly right now, almost saying, what are you going to do for me now, guys? I mean, what's the encore? Still 8 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in this third period.
$15 points tonight for Stevens, Mullen, and Lemieux together.
Well, what more can you say in a 10-1 hockey game?
Jamie Leach with Ken Priestley. Yager playing on this fourth line. Yager in front. Great goal.
I guess that's what more you can say.
Outstanding. And it's 11-1.
Now this man sure put on a show tonight. Yager has just got tremendous ability to control that puck. Look at the way that he chipped that puck on his backhand. Once he got that pass, he just flipped it right up and over Grant Fury.
Priestley and Leach draw assists on Yager's second of the night, 15th of the season, 12-17 the time, 11-1 Pittsburgh.
That's how you keep fourth liners happy. Put him out with Yager for a shift and get him some points.
Yager playing on that line because Phil Bourque was banished for the night earlier, a high sticking maybe. Lemieux with a long shot that Fuhr made the save on. Stevens trying to set up Lemieux as the Penguins are back hungry for more. Jennings at the point. Checked by Anderson, who cleared the puck the length of the ice. Ici 66. Around to Stanton. Godinyak moving back in for the Leafs. There's 66 again to Joe Mullen. Stevens headed for the net. Mullen's pass. 12-1. It's never like this in Edmonton, was it, Grant?
Mary Lemieux, he just steals that puck right off of Godinyak, I think, and then just move the puck up ice. Mullen, Stevens. That just continues to be the way it is tonight. The Leafs can't get this game done quickly enough. Still 6.5 minutes to go.
Stevens from Mullen and Lemieux. The latest scoring play, a dozen for Pittsburgh. Yager and Herdina trying to start out again. Here's Murphy with a pass cut off by Claude Lozelle. Flipped in by Dave Hannon. Tom Barrasso out to play the puck. Hannon took it off the boards but couldn't take it to the slot. Penguins 3-on-2. Yager to Herdina in his skates. And back come the Leafs 3-on-2. Hannon to Lozelle. Back to Dave Hannon in front. DeBlois was tied up by Jim Pack. Now a 4-on-2 for the Penguins. Herdina trying to get real fancy that time. Nothing doing.
Somebody's got to tell Herdina this isn't a practice. That really is an insult to the Leafs.
Kevin McGuire. Stopped just inside the blue line. Samuelson to Jennings. Pass cut off by Berube, and the Leafs stepped in offside. Penguins lead by 11 on Molson's NHL Tonight.
When you start at the right place. With all the right stuff. You get a beer brewed the Rocky Mountain way. And that's when you know you've got the right beer now.
Welcome back to the NHL Tonight. The New York Rangers refuse to die in Landover, Maryland tonight. This goal by Broughton takes the hit after the goal to set up from Turcotte. It's now 6-5. The Rangers make it a comeback.
Back at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, the Penguins have this one well in hand now, with 5 minutes to go in the third period. Six-point nights for Mullen, Lemieux, Kevin Stevens. Kevin McGuire moves out front, put the puck through the crease. And here come the Penguins, 3-on-2. Ulf Samuelsson chases the puck in the right wing. Gill has him lined up. The centering pass went to Berube. And he turns back for Toronto. Flips the puck in, and the Leafs change on the fly. Jim Pack. Paul Stanton. And up to the big guy. Stanton dumps the puck in. Alexander Godinyak is number 93 for the Leafs. His pass hit Lehman. Barrasso to play it away from Gary Lehman. Down on the boards, centered by Anderson. Cleared by the Penguins. Lemieux to Stevens. Mullen coming late. Took the pass, headed for the net. Anderson hooks him down. No call from Paul Dvorsky, who I'm sure just wants to keep the clock running like everyone else. Godinyak dumps the puck in. Stanton to Stevens. There's Mario to the slot. Hanging on with some room now. Trying to set up Mullen, I'm sure, who has 4. He just made a little flip pass to the front of the net. And it was deflected away. Joe Mullen's never had a 5-goal night. Swept ahead to Lemieux, to Stevens. Backhander, Fuhr stopped it. Brian Bradley to Mike Bullard. Marois breaking through the middle. Bullard holds on. Played the puck to Marois for Bradley by him. Bullard's after the puck. And he played it back to his defense, which is back in its own zone. Under 3 minutes to play. Third period ends the game with the Penguins leading 12-1.
Well, Recchi tried to move that puck with his skates to get an assist, but that time it didn't work.
Long shot in wide of the net. Larry Murphy. Long pass for Recchi, didn't connect. Clear something up here. We initially said when we were told that there was nothing wrong with Paul Coffey. Now the Penguins are saying in the press box he has back spasms. Dave Hannon. Under 2 minutes to play in the game. Samuelsson trying to move out for Pittsburgh. Can't get away from DeBlois. Rouse with a shot. Barrasso holds on. 1:40 to play in the game. We'll be back to the Civic Arena in a moment.
At Thrifty Car Rental, we know traveling on business has its good points and its bad points. Its ups and its downs.
Great gift, great price. The Great Ones hardcover autobiography. Just a 99-cent donation with any rental at Thrifty.
Because no matter how much money you make...
You all set, Mr. Goodsey?
It is, after all, your money.
For the Love of the Game returns Monday the 3rd of January at 8:30 Eastern Time and returns with a look at the superstars of the business side of sports. The agents on the deal makers for the Love of the Game, January 3rd. Barrasso made a nice save and a tip by Claude Lozelle.
Tell you what, there's a few deals I think that the Toronto Maple Leafs would like to make after this performance tonight.
We'll go home to play Detroit on Saturday. Pittsburgh hope to have some of this offense when they play Washington. Capitals on the road Saturday. Here's Yager looking for his third of the night. Had his stick lifted.
1 minute remaining in the period.
Yager. Lemieux's in front. Couldn't pull the trigger. That's unusual. Jennings with a shot that's blocked. McGuire. Time running out in this game to Craig Berube. Flipped up in the air and off the glass, and the Penguins turn it back. Jennings for Recchi to Jamie Leach with Ken Priestley. Recchi cut for the middle, couldn't take the puck with him on the drop pass. Down to the last few seconds of a big Penguin win. What a night for the Penguin offense.
Well, the Penguins were hot, but I'll tell you what, this is a night that coaches dread to have. And general manager Cliff Fletcher and Tom Watt, whose team is chartering out of Pittsburgh back to Toronto tonight. It's one of those nights that you would probably rather have your team watch than fly home.
Tied at 1-1 at 4:36 of the first, and then got blasted. Tom Barrasso's goals against average comes down a little bit as he picks up his 14th win of the season. Mario Lemieux with a couple of goals. Joe Mullen with his second straight 4-goal tonight, and Kevin Stevens on that line, a goal and 4 assists on a night when he didn't seem to be at his best. They're an incredible offensive machine and have taken over the goal-scoring lead all by themselves in the league, sending their fans home happy tonight. Mario Lemieux with a 7-point night to lead the way.
Nothing brings a country together better than watching its finest. TSN's pre-Olympic coverage continues with Team Canada facing off against the Soviets and the Swedes for the Alberta Cup. Live coverage begins Thursday, 10:30 Eastern, here on TSN.
Does hockey like Upper Deck.
Come join the good times at Walt Disney's World on Ice. Take off on a magical journey to Neverland as the classic tale of Peter Pan comes to life like never before. Mickey and Minnie will be there, Donald and Daisy too. There will be daring adventure with the Rescue Rangers, the dastardly deeds of the evil Captain Hook, and of course, you know who. Set your sights on adventure and good times and bring the whole family to Walt Disney's World on Ice.
Coming to Skydome December 26th through January 5th. For tickets, call 341-3500. Brought to you by Esso.
Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer leads the Brigham Young Cougars into action against the Iowa Hawkeyes. TSN kicks off the bowl season with the Thrifty Holiday Bowl. See what all the excitement's about. Live Monday, 8 Eastern, Real TV, TSN.
The Molson Cup 3 stars in Pittsburgh tonight. A Penguin sweep, no doubt about it. Star number 1. Right winger Joey Mullen with 4 goals and 6 points on the night. The second star, center Mario Lemieux, 7 points, 2 goals, and 5 assists this evening. And the third star, Jaromir Jagr, who had 2 goals as the Penguins rout the Toronto Maple Leafs 12-1. The number 1 star, Joe Mullen, joins me right now, and we look to another explosion by the Pittsburgh Penguins here tonight. You can't miss out there all of a sudden.
Well, I don't know. You know, for a while there, you know, I couldn't put anything in the net. You know, I had my opportunities, and things just didn't go in. And now it just seems like on my opportunities, things are going in no matter what I do.
Yeah, 8 goals in 2 nights. This is an explosive hockey club.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know we had the talent offensively. But we got to play better defensively every night. And, we're still working on that, and hopefully we'll get better throughout the season.
Must be great playing with Lemieux and Stevens the way they're going out there.
Oh, definitely. It's I cherish the times I get out there with them, and it doesn't really matter who I play with. I like to play with Ronnie Francis or Brian Trache or Yuri Houdino, who's ever there. But Kevin and Mario, they're excellent athletes, they're special athletes, and it's nice to get a chance to play with them.
Penguins have really been in gear the last 7 games in particular, is what Mario was saying. Would you agree with that assessment?
Excuse me, anything?
Penguins have really been in gear the last 7 games or so?
Yeah, we're getting there, especially the offense has picked up. We're getting better defensively. Hopefully, we can still improve in that area. I know the coaches always say that, and, we're working towards it.
Well, 11 tonight, only 1 got by, so the defense must have done a bit of a job.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've been getting great goaltending throughout the season. Tommy played a good game again tonight. Defense played excellent tonight. We moved the puck right away and got it up to the forwards, and the forwards got it deep.
You ever been involved in a rout like this in the National Hockey League, winning 12-1?
Not that I can really remember. I remember being on the end of a 9-0 loss one time, and that wasn't too much fun. But we had the Sharks this year at 10-0 after 2. And won the game 10-2, and then we had the Sharks 8-0 in San Jose.
All right, let's look back at your 4th tonight. Second straight 4-goal performance for Joe Mullen. Here's how it happened. Good play by Pack.
Yeah, I was just picking myself off the ice. I fell, and as soon as I looked up, Jimmy had the puck, and he shot it in, and I just kind of redirected it.
Was there a time last year when you were going through your injury problems that you wondered about your career in the National Hockey League and in Pittsburgh?
I think when I went in for the operation, the doctors didn't seem too sure whether I'd play again. I've asked people who had similar injuries how they came back, and a lot of them said they didn't come back. So I was worried about it, but from all the opinions I got from the doctors, they said there's no reason I shouldn't be able to come back, and they got me back within 8 weeks.
All right. Let's look ahead to this great race in the Patrick Division. You've got a couple of key games coming up. This is not going to be an easy division to win.
No, it's been difficult all year just to win a game in the Patrick Division. So the Islanders really improved their team, it seemed. Philadelphia's, they're working hard. They're trying to improve. Washington's playing great hockey. We seem to have trouble against them so far. And we've had our troubles against the Rangers, but, we played better against them in the last couple of games.
Yeah, ironically, those are the 2 teams you meet later this week, the Caps and the Rangers, Saturday, Sunday.
And we got the Devils right after them, too.
All right. Congratulations on another great night, another 4 goals for Joe Mullen tonight as he leads the Pittsburgh Penguins to an easy romp over the Toronto Maple Leafs. The final is in from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. It reads 12-1, Penguins over the Leafs. Thanks.
Who could ever forget the Canadian junior team's triumph last January in Saskatoon?
Canada has struck gold.
This year, Canada's goal is a 3rd consecutive World Championship title. Super Junior Eric Lindros leads an all-star team to the most exciting junior hockey event of the year. Cheer on the Canadian team as they take on the best in the world. Don't miss the tension, the drama, and the moment of glory. Live coverage begins Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern, only on TFN.
We know you rise and fall, show your sorrow, you really gave your all, real laughter, real tears, share the spirit of the sea.
Now it's time for the TSN Turning Points, brought to you by Slim Fast. Penguins on a power play. First period. Merrill Lemieux from the corner, out for Joe Mullen. Mullen waits, and then fires his second of the night past Grant Fuhr. 17:03, second period. That's as close as the Leafs got. As close as they could come, making it 2-1 Pittsburgh. They went on to the rout. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of Slim Fast. Give us a week and we'll help take off the weights. Now back to Toronto and Chris Seaton.
Thank you, John. And a great game going on as we speak at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland. The Washington Capitals playing host to the New York Rangers. The Caps were up 6-1 at one point in this game. Then the Rangers started their comeback, and what a comeback it was with the score 6-5 Caps. Turcotte to King He beats Mike Liut. The game is tied at 6. Then Messier. Down the right wing, Mark Messier, the captain, the heart and soul of the Rangers, to Adam Graves. Graves in front to Mike Gartner, and Gartner beats his former teammates with the go-ahead goal, beating Mike Liut. And with that goal, it is now 7-6. The Rangers up on the Capitals. They are late in the third period at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland. Let's join Madison Square Garden Network.
1:42 to go. Pavanka, Kristich, and Bondra, Hatcher, and Johansson for the Caps. Leach works his way free.
And Nemchinov is a tough guy, too.
He's back on. Yeah. Nemchinov on with Messier and Graves, Leach, and Bukaboom.
Sam, I think it's 3 times this year Washington has scored a goal once they've pulled their goaltender. So they're pretty good at that drill. Liut's still in there, and there's 1:20 remaining in the third.
Leach off the boards and out. Johansson has it. Graves on him. Ahead for Kristich. Kristich knocked away by Nemchinov. Graves gets it to Nemchinov. He plays it down the boards into the corner. 1:05 to go. Johansson starts up ice. Liut looking to the bench. Liut heads for the bench. Hatcher plays it into the Rangers zone. Less than a minute to go. Cap's net is empty. Pavanka shoots, knocked down by Leach. Leach turns, plays it ahead. It rolls out of the zone. Iafrate, the man off the bench, as the extra skater drives it back in. Leach has the puck, tries to clear it out. It's tipped out by Graves. Iafrate back for it. 40 seconds to go. Rangers leading 7-6. Iafrate giveaway. Nemchinov scores. He scores an empty net goal.
That's justice. That's justice for Nemchinov for the way he's played and couldn't beat Liut on 4 glorious scoring chances. He played tough. He played hurt. And then he gets a gimme, as I am afraid he just gave it away. He lost it, actually. And Nemchinov gets a gift. I am afraid he had visions of trapping Nemchinov deep and moving it up ice. Uh-oh.
That's not Mike Liut in goal anymore.
Oh, do you believe this? What a comeback by New York's Rangers. They trailed 6-1. They now lead 8-6. And they can start thinking about the Islanders. 35 seconds left, 2-goal lead.
Sergei Nemchinov, who has stretched his point-scoring streak to 11, scores the goal. The empty net goal. The Rangers will clinch it. 25 seconds to go.
Rangers put a couple of tough wingers on the ice here, King and Kosar, just to make sure nothing happened through frustration late in the game.
Caps send it in. John Van Beesbrook has played the last 2 periods. The Rangers have dominated play, carrying it to the Caps. Van Beesbrook has made a couple of good saves. The Rangers win. The Rangers, with 7 unanswered goals, are tied for first place. They have come from behind to beat the Caps 8-6.
Remember this, too. The Mike Ridley breakaway, when the Caps only trailed, or pardon me, they led by 1 goal at the time, and Van Beesbrook, who didn't have a lot of work over the 2 periods, came right out, challenged, and stopped Mike Ridley on that breakaway to allow the Rangers to continue their comeback, which they achieved.
Welcome back to our TSN Control Center in Toronto. What a finish to that game. The final score was 8-6. The Rangers were down 6-1 at one point, but they fought back, and they took the lead. And 8-6, the final score, the final goal coming as an empty net goal. A big comeback for the Rangers. They have now won 7 in a row, and they are playing some very good hockey. Hockey on TSN. Don't forget the World Junior Hockey Championships are underway. And today, Canada played its first game of the World Junior Championship as they chased their 3rd straight World Junior title. Canada downing Germany 5-4. Interesting in this game, Patrick Poulin scoring the game-winning goal with just 20 seconds left in regulation time. It was his 2nd goal of the game. Team Canada suffering through a number of players with the flu bug. Trevor Kidd stopped 30 shots. He is fighting the flu right now. And, of course, Canada's next game is against Finland. Monday, December 30th, we'll have that game live on TSN. Now, live from the Boston Garden, let's join New England Sports Network. The Whalers against the Bruins, 3-2 late in the game.
Shaw off on the right for Cullen. Played in deep. Ray Bourque there. Up the boards. Bruins trying to move it out. Cullen kept it in. Blocked by Bourque. Cleared out. Softly enough by Arneal. 5 seconds left. Big play by Arneal. He didn't ice that. And the puck rolls down near the hero of the night, Reggie Lemelin. Reggie Lemelin made 30 saves, gave up 2 goals. They were both power plays. Leach scored from Hodge and Ruzicka in a power play in the final minute. And the Bruins win another one-goal margin over the Hartford Whalers. Listen to the fans.
That says it all. Tremendous effort by Mullen. Bruins hard pressed on many occasions. He came up big, made the saves when he had to. Gets himself another win.
So the final score from the Boston Garden, the Bruins downing the Hartford Whalers 3-2. Stay with us. The NHL Tonight continues live on TSN in just a moment.
This is no toboggan ride. The world's best negotiate turns on an icy track at speeds over 100 kilometers an hour. TSN heats up your Saturday night with World Cup four-man bobsled competition from Calgary. Winter Speed 92, Saturday, 9 Eastern, here on Real TV. TSN. Who could ever forget the Canadian junior team's triumph last January in Saskatoon?
Canada has struck gold.
This year, Canada's goal is a third consecutive World Championship title. Super Junior Eric Lindros leads an all-star team to the most exciting junior hockey event of the year. Cheer on the Canadian team as they take on the best in the world. Don't miss the tension, the drama, and the moment of glory. Live coverage begins Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern, only on TSN.
Welcome back to the NHL Tonight on TSN. Another great finish, this one at the Nassau County Coliseum on Long Island. The game was 5-4 Devils. Late in the third period, Derek King scored with .05 of a second left in the period, sending it to overtime. They are in overtime right now. Let's go to the action live from the Nassau County Coliseum, Sports Channel, New York.
To King. Derek King blisters one, turned aside by Terreri. King after his own rebound, center, Turgeon. Can't tuck it in as he slid by the side of the net. Now King gets knocked down. The puck pinged on the boards, and there's no further play.
I think Terreri made a save off of that puck, whether he knew he did or not. I believe Turgeon quickly got a shot away. The Islanders back in pressing. What a shot by Derek King. He's got the shooter going tonight. Look at that. Look at the reaction by the goaltender. The puck bounces. King goes in. Watch it, the left side of the net. I guess our camera had moved over, but you'll have to trust me on it. Terreri moved his left leg over to the goal post. There, watch it come out. Bang, right there. He did. He made a good save off a shot by Pierre Turgeon.
The Islanders are being credited with only one shot on goal in overtime so far. Not that that's a big factor. 5-5 is the score. We've played a minute and 42 seconds of the sudden death period. There are the records that I referred to. Lifetime and overtime against New Jersey. The Islanders on home ice have never lost. They're 3-0-5. They've won 3, lost 2, and 4 games have ended in ties on the road against the Devils franchise that was born in Kansas City and went to Colorado before ending up on the other side of the two rivers here. Creighton, McElwain, and Thomas for the Islanders with Norton and Ricky. Stevens has gone back to get a new hockey stick. Has a couple of options. We take door number 1 or door number 2.
Probably got the same stick he started out with. That's the ploy of delaying things, giving everybody a rest.
Sundstrom and Creighton on the face-off. Sundstrom has his stick in possession. The puck dropped. Creighton turned on him, but the Devils able to gain control. Stevens checked back of the net. And the Devils able to clear it out, only to have Norton shoot it right back in again. This is Eric Weinrich. Pass up the boards, goes off the boards, down into the Islanders zone. Healy plays it to Norton. Norton trying to come out on the far side. Up the middle to Dave McElwain. Driving on Stevens. McElwain trying to center. Stevens broke up the pass. This is Dave Barr. Got it to Boschman, to Chorsky. Tom Chorsky off the wing. Centers one, and that's tapped wide by Barr. What a game he's had. This is Jeff Norton with a pass to McElwain. Lost it outside the line, and Boschman has dropped it back. Weinrich with a feed to Chorsky. Ricky checked him at the blue line. Now Dave McElwain recovers the puck. He's over the New Jersey line. Right at the end of his shift as he dumps it toward the corner, and the Islanders change up. Al Arbor sending out Ferraro with Hogue and Fitzgerald.
Eric Weinrich, playing the puck down into the Islander zone. Taking it here is Huey Krupp up to Ferraro. Has Hogue with him on the left side. 3 Devils back as Ferraro crosses the line, pulls up, centers one in front goal, and they couldn't get it to Hogue in time. New Jersey checked in their own end. Fitzgerald gets control again at center ice. The pass to Ferraro. Dumps it around the boards with just under 2 minutes to go in sudden death overtime. Casatona has played it hard around. It bounced away from Krupp, who hustles back. Huey Krupp with a man right on him. Zalapukin recovers the puck. Valerie Zalapukin puts it in the corner. This is Stastny. Stastny, nice pass to Casatona. Chased to the corner by Krupp. Now it's centered in front. Stastny, a backhander. What a stop by Healy. Helon has cleared it out as the Devils had one more big chance. Up with it is Tom Fitzgerald, and he's played it around Danico. The Islanders changing on the fly. Danico to Stastny. Peter Stastny turns it over at the Islander blue line. Jeff Norton handling it here. Norton with a pass to Turgeon to Volek on right wing. Turgeon drives to the front of the net. Volek centers, and they couldn't get a stick on it. Nice play, but nobody there to finish it off. Now Norton held it at the line. It's come outside the zone, and the Devils clear it. Richer comes down left wing into the Islander zone. Richer, after having lost it, recovered. Loses it a second time. Now leaves it in the corner, and Ricky guides it around to the right side. Less than a minute to go in overtime as the Islanders have cleared the zone. The Devils get to it at center ice. Stevens has given it to Weinrich. Up the boards. The pass to Todd. Norton turned him around. It's recovered by Randy McKay. Here's Todd centering one in front. It gets through everyone. Held in by Richer. Stevens chases it back at the Islander net. Turgeon trying to knock it away. Stevens recovers. Stevens centers. Kicked out by Healy. Norton has the rebound. Springs Pierre Turgeon. King moving up with him. Turgeon off the right side. Shoots one. Hits the post. It bounces out toward the line, and now Pilon dumps it back in. A delayed offside, and the Islanders regain the blue line. What a tough break for the Islanders, and Pierre Turgeon. What a wrist shot he let go. Rung the pipe, and the Islanders, with 7 seconds remaining in overtime, clear the puck up and out of the zone, and this game will end in a 5-5 tie and a fight. There's a tussle going on back at the Islander end of the ice. Joe Ricci is involved here with Randy McKay. It's too bad to end a good hockey game on this particular kind of a note, but the linesmen get in quickly. I think the guys are really that upset with each other. They're frustrated. The thing I liked about this hockey game, particularly the overtime, was that both teams wanted to win it. Yeah, nobody sat back at all. A big night for Terreri, yet you think back. The goal by King, the shorthanded goal by DeMille, the Islanders, who had had so many chances early on, couldn't score, get them when they needed them to at least get a point out of this game, and now have gone 9 without a loss to the Devils. Your final score at the
A goal with less than a second left, tied it up at 5 apiece. No scoring in overtime. 5-5 the final between the Devils and the Islanders. Stay with us. The NHL Tonight continues live on TSN in just a moment.
You know, I just love this new Diet Pepsi song, but do you think it's caught on yet?
You got the right one, baby. Diet Pepsi. You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby.
Imagine if you could look inside your batteries. If you could see how much power they have left. Well, now you can with the Copper Top Tester. Absolutely free. Only from Duracell.
When I get off the ice, the first thing I reach for is ice pain relief. Deep Cold Therapy Ice Gel helps relieve the pain of overworked muscles and back pain.
Why not ice your pain with Deep Cold Therapy?
Come out of the wet into a world that's more than dry. It's extra dry. Arid extra dry. Antiperspirant for men.
TSN follows the excitement of international amateur hockey. See live coverage of the Max Midget Junior Hockey Championship Final from Calgary. New Year's Day, 8 Eastern, right here on TSN.
Welcome back to the NHL Tonight, everyone. I'm Chris Edens. A busy night in the NHL. 8 games in all, including the game you saw here on TSN, 12-1 Penguins over Toronto. Other games tonight, Boston downing Hartford in the Battle of New England. 3-2 was the final in this game. The Bruins have 4 wins in their last 10 games. Elsewhere, at Le Colisée in Quebec City, the Canadiens downing the Quebec Nordique. 4-1 was the final score in this game. The Rangers, down 6-1 at one point, fought back, tied the game, then went ahead 8-6 the final score. The Rangers downing the Washington Capitals. The Rangers have won 7 in a row. The Islanders and the Devils playing to a 5-all tie. Of course, this game you saw the final overtime moments of this one. Derek King scoring with 0.5 of a second left, 0.05 of a second left in regulation time to tie the game. They went to overtime, but it settled nothing. Second period action at the arena in St. Louis. The Blues and the Blackhawks tied at 1 apiece. And in the second intermission, the Jets are up on Minnesota, rather the Jets in Minnesota tied at 1 apiece, at, of course, at the Winnipeg Arena. Later tonight, the Los Angeles Kings play host to the expansion San Jose Sharks. This game gets underway in, about 10-12 minutes from now. The NHL Tonight live on TSN. Let's go now to the arena in St. Louis. It is the Blues playing host to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Against the Blues, what are the Hawks tonight, 0 for 4? They're 3 out of 24 against St. Louis in the 5 games played. Now deep in the St. Louis zone, Murray Barron put it around the boards. Hall chopped at it, couldn't get it out. Graham back of the net to Lemieux, and Butcher picked his pocket, then gave it away to Gilbert for Lemieux. He ripped it just wide of the far post. Off a nice steal and set up by Gilbert. Lemieux has it again on the near side. Threw it across the Katera. His shot well high and wide. Coming to the near corner. Cleared behind the goal. Butcher tries the near side. Gilbert kicks it loose on the boards, but Shanahan got to it to Butcher. Garth Butcher dumped it into the Hog zone, going to chase it himself. Katera tied him up on the end boards, then Hall dug it out. This Shanahan, a long shot is blocked and winds up back in the St. Louis end. 1:15 left in the period. 2-1 Blues is Norwood. Here's it to Adam Oates. Elio stole his pass. And now Noonan had his feet broken up. Shanahan got it to Oates. Good poke check by Chelios at center. Feeding Vincelette over the line, but Brent Sutter had lost his stick. And going to retrieve it, he didn't see Vincelette on the other side of the ice, was wide open, and Sutter winds up being called offside.
The Blackhawks drew over 18,000 on Sunday. The Blues returned the same type of crowd, over 18,000 here at the arena. What a great rivalry this has turned into over the last few years and throughout the existence of the Blues.
Blues now have gone over the 300,000 mark in attendance for the season. And a face-off outside the St. Louis line. Here's the draw. Dumped in behind Joseph. Jeff Brown rings it around the boards. Ron Sutter. Now Chelios takes it away for Chicago. And then a Ron Sutter steal, rolling it deep into the Hawk zone. Belfour to the corner. He took a run at Sutter. Came loose in front. And Chelios is there to gather it in. Belfour looked like he initiated that contact in the corner. Here's Chelios back over the line. Slipped it in front. Tipped just wide by Hudson, who then centered. It didn't get through. Hudson has it again in behind. Walks in front, the wraparound. And a save by Joseph. Rebound, Jeff Brown clears it back into the Hog zone. And Chelios gets back to center, but he'll run out of time as the second period comes to an end. A late flurry from the Hawks, held off by Joseph. And the Blues take a lead into the second intermission. The Blues scoring 2 unanswered goals in that period. Michel Mongeau.
So 2-1 is the score at the arena in St. Louis. The Blues leading the Chicago Blackhawks in this Norris Division matchup. You are watching the NHL Tonight live on TSN. And a reminder, TSN has live coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championship. Jim Van Horn and the crew are on their way to Fusen, Germany for it. Canada playing its first game of the tournament on Boxing Day, and they turned in a 5-4 win over the host team from Germany. Trevor Kidd suffering from the flu bug a bit. He stopped 30 shots in the Canadian goal. Interesting, Patrick Poulin scoring the game-winning goal for our Canadian squad with 20 seconds left in regulation time. That was his second goal of the game. So Canada wins its opening game of the tournament. A couple of injuries for Team Canada as well. Scott Niedermayer suffered a back spasm. He left the game. Richard Matvichuk suffered a shoulder injury, so we don't know how long he will be out. We hope to update that on Sports Desk possibly later tonight. So Canada wins its opening game of the tournament 5-4. A number of the players in the Canadian team with a flu bug, which is going around and hitting the team as of late. Canada, its next game is against Finland Monday, December 30th, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, live on TSN. Jim Van Horn, Paul Romanuk have left for Fusen, Germany, and they will have this game once again live on TSN Monday, December 30th, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Join us for our coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championships. Let's go back to the Igloo in Pittsburgh and join John Wells. John?
All right, Chris, the Pittsburgh Penguins tighten things up in the Patrick Division race just a little bit tonight with a little help from the New York Rangers. There is now a two-way tie for top spot as the Rangers beat the Washington Capitals. Now the Penguins move within 5 points of the Capitals and the Rangers with their overwhelming victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. So that sets the stage for a couple of key games later this week between the Penguins and the Washington Capitals. And then on Sunday, the Penguins take on the New York Rangers. The Penguins score 11 straight goals en route to their rout of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The final 12-1 as Joey Mullen leads the way with his second 4-goal performance in as many nights. The Alberta Cup is coming up next on the Sports Network TSN. The Russia Selects taking on Team Canada. Peter Watts, Gord Miller, and Bob McKenzie are there for that one. Then Sports Desk will follow at 2 a.m. Eastern Time with Chris Sedens. A reminder to join us again tomorrow night as we follow the Canucks into the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver for a date with the Philadelphia Flyers, coming your way at 10:30 Eastern. Again, the final score is the Penguins 12 and the Maple Leafs 1. I'm John Wells. For everyone in the NHL tonight, good night from Pittsburgh.
Molson NHL Tonight on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. And brought to you by Pepsi, it's got what it takes.
If you're a hockey fan, your Monday night just got a whole lot better. TSN's going to enlighten you, inform you, thrill you with the new and exciting show, Hockey Magazine. Hello, I'm Jim Van Horn. Join me every...
Coming up on Sports Desk, another four-star effort for the Penguins' Joey Mullen. Ray Bourque has the Whalers at Whitmore's end. And the coach of Steeltown calls it a day.
Welcome to Sports Desk, everyone. I'm Chris Sedens. Hope everybody had a very, very Merry Christmas this year. Hockey fans have been going through a hockey withdrawal for the last two nights. The NHL was back in action in full force with 8 games on Boxing Day. Joey Mullen is certainly having a Christmas to remember. Last week, Pittsburgh Penguins head coach Scotty Bowman moved him onto a line with Mario Lemieux and Kevin Stevens to form the most potent offensive attack in the NHL. Mullen scored 4 goals against the Islanders Monday night, and he loaded up on Christmas turkey and came out flying Thursday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. 3-on-2, Stevens with a great pass to Mullen, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Then with the score tied at 1, Mullen will add to his goal count. Mario Lemieux feeds him the pass. 2-1 on his 22nd goal of the year. And just before the period ends, Bob Airy bursts down the wing. Grant Fuhr will get a piece of the puck, but it still goes in. 3-1 Penguins. Fuhr was target practice literally for the rest of the game.
Here's a pass cut off. Herdina's in alone with Yager. The pass. He scores. Yager. And Mario has the puck in front. They score. Francis. But only for a moment. Mullen. Uh-oh. It's Mario. And he's got the 8th. 9-1. Jim Pack. 10 goals. Joe Mullen's got his 4th.
His second 4-goal game in a row. The Penguins go on to bury the Leafs 12-1 the final. McGuire with the only goal for Toronto. Mullen with 4. Mario Lemieux with a pair. Jaromir Jagr with a pair. Kevin Stevens with a pair. Bob Airy and Ron Francis with singles. Mullen, Lemieux, Stevens, that line combining for 19 points in this amazing game. Now on to St. Louis. The Blackhawks in town to play the